I never thought marriage could start feeling like a performance review. But over the past few months, that's exactly what it had become. Every little thing I did, how I folded towels, the way I chewed, the time I got home, somehow ended up as another note in Emily's mental file. I'd laugh it off, thinking it was her way of venting. But eventually, she stopped laughing with me. It started as playful teasing. We'd be out with friends, and she'd say things like, "Oh, don't ask James to grill, he burns water." Everyone would chuckle, and I'd shrug it off. But over time, the teasing grew sharper, more specific, less funny. One Friday night, she hosted her book club at the house. I was upstairs finishing some paperwork when I heard my name being thrown around downstairs, followed by laughter. Then I heard her say, in that exaggerated tone she used when she wanted to seem cute, "Okay, girls, get ready. Here are the 20 dumb habits of my husband." The room erupted. I froze halfway down the stairs. I could hear her voice carry through the open kitchen door, clear as day. Number 1, he forgets to rinse his coffee mug and leaves it on the counter like it's waiting for a fairy to clean it. Number 2, he still thinks folding laundry means flattening it with his hands. Number 3, when he gets home, he sighs like he's the only person who worked today. Each one was met with giggles and mock gasps. At first, I tried to tell myself it was harmless, just another one of her dramatized routines for her friends. But then she started reading the ones that weren't about habits. They were about character. Number 11, he apologizes even when he doesn't mean it. Classic conflict avoider. Number 15, he says he supports my career but never asks about my work. Number 18, he pretends to be calm, but deep down he's petty. There was no laughter in me left to give, just silence. By the time she reached number 20, he thinks being a good man is enough reason for me to be happy. Something in me went cold. The women clapped and laughed. One of them even said, "God, I wish I could make a list that long." Emily laughed loudest. I went back upstairs and sat on the edge of the bed. Not angry, just hollow. I stared at our framed wedding photo on the dresser. Her smile in that picture was real, not the performative kind she wore now. I wondered when that version of her disappeared, and if she ever planned on telling me. She came up an hour later, still glowing from all the attention. "You heard that, didn't you?" she said, smirking. "I did," I replied quietly. "Oh, come on. It's a joke, James. You know I love you. Everyone teases their spouse." "Don't be so sensitive," I nodded. "Sure, a joke." She rolled her eyes, kissed my forehead like I was a sulking child, and turned off the light. I lay awake, staring into the dark, realizing that what she found funny was my dignity slowly eroding in front of others. Over the next week, something shifted in me. It wasn't rage, it was clarity. I started noticing how often I'd excuse things that hurt me just to keep peace, how many times I'd let her talk over me, dismiss my feelings, make me the punchline to keep her friends entertained. Every joke, every harmless tease, had been another quiet withdrawal from the emotional balance of our marriage. And I was broke. On Wednesday, she sent me a text while I was at work. The girls loved the list. They said I should post it online. Marriage humor. I stared at the message for a long time before typing back, "Add Doshka 21, bank account closed." I don't think she understood what I meant, at least not right away. That evening I came home early. I wasn't angry. I was composed, calm to the point it probably scared her. She was in the kitchen, laughing on the phone. When she saw me, she mouthed, "1 sec," and kept talking. I walked past her straight to the study and gathered a small folder, the one labeled Joint Finances. Quietly, I logged into the account we both used for bills and groceries. I moved every cent I had earned this month into my personal savings, one she didn't know existed. Then I left a note on the kitchen counter that simply said, "For every joke, there's a price." I'm done paying. She didn't call me that night, but the next morning she sent a message that said only one thing. "What does this mean?" I didn't reply. Some messages don't need an answer, they need reflection. The following days were strange, quiet, but not peaceful. The silence between us wasn't the kind that came from anger. It was the kind that follows realization. I went to work, came home, ate in silence, and went to bed early. Emily tried small talk, but my answers were short. On the third day, she finally broke. "What is this cold treatment about?" she asked. "You humiliated me," I said plainly. Not once, not by accident, but with intent. You made entertainment out of disrespect, she scoffed. It was a joke, James. You can't be serious. I was serious the entire time you weren't, I replied. That stopped her. She crossed her arms, defensive. So what, now you're punishing me by taking the money? That's petty. I looked at her for a long moment. No, that's number 21. Her lips parted like she was about to argue, but no words came out. She just stood there, realizing this wasn't a fight she could charm her way out of. I walked to the window and stared outside, watching the early evening fade into dusk. You know, I said softly, the funny thing about being mocked by someone you love is that it doesn't just embarrass you. It makes you question who you've been living beside. Her voice trembled slightly. It wasn't meant to hurt you. I just wanted to make them laugh. And you did, I said. You just forgot the joke had a heartbeat. She sat at the table, her expression shifting from anger to confusion to guilt. I didn't think you cared that much. That's the problem, I said. You stopped thinking I cared, so you stopped caring how your actions made me feel. I became a prop in your stories, not a person. There was a long pause, the kind where truth finally lands heavy and unshakable. I didn't raise my voice, didn't insult her, didn't cry. I just spoke the way a man speaks when he's done pretending things will fix themselves. I moved my money because I needed space, financial and emotional. You might think it's childish, but it's actually the most adult thing I've done in this marriage. Her eyes glistened. So what now? You're leaving me? I'm not sure, I said honestly. But I'm leaving the version of me who thought being the butt of the joke was normal. That night I slept in the guest room. I heard her crying softly, but I didn't go to comfort her. For years I had been the one patching up her emotions while mine bled quietly in the background. Not this time. Over the next week she tried to reach out. Small gestures at first, making breakfast, sending apology texts, trying to talk. But I didn't want apologies born from fear of consequences. I wanted understanding. One evening, she came into the guest room holding a notebook. I deleted the post draft, she said quietly. And I wrote something else. She handed me the notebook. On the first page, it said, 20 things my husband does right. I didn't say anything. I just read. Each line was simple but sincere. He never forgets to warm my coffee mug before pouring. He works hard without asking for praise. He forgives faster than I deserve. He's the calm I mock because I envy it. By the time I reached the last one, he stayed long enough for me to realize how cruel I became trying to be funny. Felt something loosen in my chest. I looked up at her. She was crying quietly, not for pity but out of genuine remorse. I don't want to lose you, she whispered. I just lost sight of what mattered. Somewhere along the way, making others laugh felt easier than loving you, right? For the first time in a long time, I believed her. We didn't fix everything that night. We didn't promise to go back to how things used to be, because that version of us had already cracked. But we agreed on one thing: no more jokes that drew blood. Sometimes marriage isn't about grand gestures. It's about small mercies, spoken softly after the storm. Weeks later, we sat in the same living room where she had once performed that list. The same friends came over, unaware of what had happened since. Someone asked her jokingly if she had any new husband habits to share. She smiled, glanced at me and said, "Yeah, number 21, he stayed when he didn't have to." They laughed, but she didn't. She reached across the table and took my hand instead, and for the first time in a long time. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, it was peaceful.